Our interview guest today, of course, is none other than Donna Schuller. Of course, Donna needs no introduction. She and my dad led and pastored this community for a number of years, are an integral part of who we are as a church. And my dad and Donna have continued to do some amazing things in ministry. And I just felt like we need to hear what's going on, especially in Donna's life and through her book. And I thought it'd be so great to have Hannah here too, just because we're a family, and I know Hannah's going to have better questions than the ones I'm going to ask. So let's welcome Donna Schuller here today. And we are so happy. We're going to talk a little bit about Donna's book, which is called Healthy Family, Happy Life, What Healthy Families Learn from Healthy Moms. And of course, she's been my stepmom for 30 years, so I don't remember her not being my stepmom. But before we get to that, let's just talk about, I think the big question that a lot of people are wondering is, what have you guys been doing since everything at the cathedral? The big mess,
Well, yeah, it was a big mess, wasn't it? I'm glad that's all cleared up. It's beautiful to see this congregation. A lot of you have been here for years. A lot of you are new, and you have no idea who I am. So it's a good thing you told them. A lot has gone on. First of all, I think it's important to say that obviously what my husband and I went through was not easy. It's still not easy. There's a lot of pain, but you know what? There's a lot of painful things in life, period. And I learned early on, having lost my father when I was only 13, I learned early on that God does give you more than you can handle, but he never gives you more than he can handle. So the important thing through anything you go through in life is just to remain centered and focused on God through Jesus and on his will for your life.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know what your dad and I would have done without our deep, deep faith, because certainly we've been through a lot in a 30-year marriage. I inherited you and your sister I helped raise you.
That's hell in itself.
Yeah. No.
How you get through that? I don't know.
No, you were easy. You were super easy. You were the easiest kid of all four of our kids.
That's good
so
to know.
anyway,
That's
so
good.
there's Bobby and Bobby.
Just keep it coming.
You were awesome.
Easy.
I don't know how he is now, but you were an amazing young, and you still are an amazing, young man. And I have a lot of respect for you and Hannah both and what you've done here, and it's just great. It's healthy, it's growing, and I love talking about health because your dad and I have had a ministry of health since way before it was cool to do so as a pastor in the church. Actually, I think it's important to point out another painful thing we went through early on was we started a health ministry over 25 years ago at Rancho Capistrano. And at the time, people told my husband, Robert Anthony Schuller, don't talk about that in church. That's heretical. Leave God over here and leave the body and the mind over here. We're only allowed to talk about spiritual stuff. Well, thank goodness that's not the case anymore. Most churches embrace the whole recovery model, which is also what we embraced like 30 years ago. And more importantly, the health model. And the total body, mind, soul health model.
So true. I remember when Dad was doing that radio show, and we used to go and sit, and I know it was a lot of work, but I recognized that he was getting an education. Health was, I think, already important to you, and I think it kind of like spiked that for him. And it was really interesting to watch you guys change. What's so interesting is that as many theologians today now are writing about how the real biblical model, and this was true in the first century and in Judaism, how the body was an important part of the soul. And that if you're good to your body's going to be good to you. That whole theme, the importance of the sacredness of the body and treating it like a temple. you see it all through the scripture. And so that's been important to you. Now, one of the questions people, I think, always ask you is when you talk about health, though, they want to kind of pigeonhole you to be that health means just fitness or nutrition, but that's not it, right?
Yeah, typically when I go, I think I was telling you last night, typically when I am interviewed about my book, the radio show host or anybody who's interviewing will say, oh my gosh, I just want you to know, I'm usually really healthy. I just rejoined the gym. I'm sorry I went to a fast food yesterday. And I'm thinking, whoa, 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 whoa. You're missing the whole boat there. I mean, health starts with spiritual health, emotional health, and the body, the health of the body. It's the whole spectrum. God made us body, mind, and soul. He didn't make Bobby the body and Hannah the soul. He made every one of us here to be body, mind, and soul. And to the best of our ability, we want to keep that balance, and it's not easy. Typically, sometimes you might be doing better physically, not so good emotionally, and maybe great spiritually. And that shifts around throughout your whole life, that cycle. But the goal is to just try to be as healthy as you can and work on all three areas of your being, which, to answer your question, you asked me, what are Dad and I doing? We've got a lot. So we have a health ministry still. We still have a global ministry. It's called Robert Schuller Ministries. Our website is robertschullerministries.org. And we travel the world. Dad still preaches, as you know. Typically, I'm not sure he's had a speaking engagement here in California, but nationally and more so globally. So your dad still speaks globally. He preaches in churches. We travel with the Global Peace Foundation, we're the Christian representatives in an interfaith organization, which we advocate peace around the world in some real hotbeds. So we travel into some places that probably a lot of you wouldn't want to travel, but we feel like it's part of our calling. And again, it's about health in the whole person, and being peaceful inside is very important if you ever expect to have peace out there beyond yourself.
The call is a very cool thing too. That's the 15th of every month, and I had a chance to be on there a lot on your last call, I think. And it's this really cool thing where it's like basically a phone call, and there's thousands of people can call in, and it basically becomes like this phone call. And I love how grassroots it kind of feels. You sort of call in, and like you can just kind of take any call, and there's lots of ways that people can connect with you guys in your ministry, and you can invite my dad to come out and preach at your church, or follow him at robertschullerministries.org. And there's lots of ways that people can continue to follow you guys. Oh, Hannah, you had a question, right? That was...
Yeah, I had a question. Okay, so your book, Happy Family, Happy Life.
Healthy Life.
Healthy Life, that's right. Happy Family, Healthy Life.
Healthy family, happy life.
Healthy family, happy life.
Yeah,
okay.
Healthy family means happy life.
Which I love that title. And I think as a mom, I'm always trying to figure out how to help my family be healthier. And I did the grocery shopping and all, and I know that you've been talking it's more than just physical though. So maybe as a point in your book or something that you've taken from like your main message, what would be one practical step families can take to start on a healthier path? Whether that be physical, emotional, spiritual, like what would be a step?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, obviously I could answer it in all three different areas, but I think I'll go for the most important. The most important thing you can do for your family, which you're doing, is to teach them about the love of Jesus Christ. God tells us to love him, to love your neighbor as yourself, and you notice there's that self part. Love yourself. So the last 3 chapters of my book are on just that, loving God, loving others, loving yourself, and it's really all about grace. And that's the most important thing you can teach your kids as far as health goes. Everything else hinges on your emotional health and your spiritual health. So
that's good. How could we apply that? Like, would it just be maybe like prayers at night with our children, or what would be a way that we could really show the
Well, I think modeling, kids will sometimes do what you say, but they'll always do what you do.
Yeah.
So modeling the love of Jesus, which you guys do so well, is the most important thing. So I think that's probably the most practical thing. Your kids will hear what you say. They hear what you say behind closed doors. If you speak tenderly to others, they'll grow up speaking tenderly to others. If you show the love to all people, and that's one of the best things I think that your dad and I did raising our kids, is we exposed them to a lot of cultures, a lot of religions, a lot of creeds, a lot of color, and we taught them to love everybody. And it goes back to the love of Jesus and the message of Jesus. And then from there you get into, teaching them a healthy diet and teaching them to honor the body and get enough exercise so they're not growing up couch potatoes, sitting around watching TV or on their iPads, you know, as many hours as a lot of kids are now. So, but it starts with spiritual health, and I cannot drive that home enough, and I know you'll agree with that for sure.
Good. Yeah.
And of course, you can find out much more about Donna's book, Donna's message, by getting her book, and I want to recommend you do that. It's an awesome book and can really help in all aspects of your life, especially with your family. And Donna, we're just so glad that you're here today. We're so blessed by your presence, your blessing.
Thank you.
So glad to have you and Dad and Grandma Linnell here, and we just love you guys so much. And of course, you want to talk to her, and her or Dad, they'll be here, I'm sure, after this.
Yeah, I'll be out front. I brought a few books with me.
Okay, so buy the book. It's right out there on the platform.
And everything goes into our ministry. I don't take a dime for it. It goes into the Robert Schuller Ministries. And if you want to order it, you can reach me at donna@schullerministries.org.
Donna, we love you. And can we just give her another hand and thank her for being here?
Thank you. Love you.